What's up, y'all? It's Truth Tiger, and today we're going to talk about society. And society wants you in a box. Society wants all of us to be put in a box. Society is not about expressing individuality. Society is not about people thinking for themselves. Society is about very rigid conformity. And it doesn't matter where you're at in society or what kind of stuff you do or whatever strata you're in, there's a certain level of conformity that is expected. And there's a huge lack of respect towards you as an individual and what you want, who you really are, because we all have like this sense of like who we are inside. We have that like unique person that we are, and they don't want that. They do not want you to be who you are uniquely. They don't want you to be your unique, authentic self that we all have on the inside. They want to turn you into a cookie cutter, fake version of yourself because they want to shove you into that box, and they want you to fit in to that box that they have designed. And the box is not designed for your convenience. It's designed for the convenience of the system. And they want to jam you in there. And if they have to cut off parts of you to make you fit in there, they'll do it. They will cut you down to size so that you fit into the box. Bottom line. And, there's good parts of yourself that they want you to cut off, and good parts of yourself that they do not want you to express. And, they want to keep you stuck down there. And the thing about being in the box is once you're in the box, you lose all individuality. Once you're in the box, you lose humanity, because they don't want us to be human beings, to be alive, living, filled with life, free will, life, free will, love, They don't want that. Being able to think for ourselves, they don't want that. They want us to follow societal programming very rigidly. They want us to get into the societal box. And then we have our societal things that we do. And we are a this, we are a nerd, or we are a jock. We are, we are this or that politically. We are this or that religiously. We are this or that in so many different ways. And, they're going to say, all right, well, I guess you're an apple or an orange. And you go, no, I'm a pineapple. And they go, we don't have that here. What's a pineapple? We're going to cut you down into an apple or an orange. And, we're going to, not even really an apple or an orange. It's, you're a square or you're a rectangle. That's it. You're like, I'm a circle. They're like, circle? What is that? No. We gotta make you into a box. That's what we need here. We can't have any circles that roll around. No circles that roll around, none of that, nope. And it's just like, why can't I just be a circle? I want to be a circle. It's who I am. You all started out as circles anyways, and they turned you into this box, into this square. I don't want to be a freaking square. I really don't. And in my personal life, there's been a lot of forces that have been like active against me in this. Like, I've always been a unique guy. I've always been the kind of dude who like marches to the beat of my own drum. I think for myself. I'm willing to say things that other people might be too scared to say. I'm really willing to just bust out, take the risk, and be myself, at all costs. It's what I do, and it's not an easy thing to do, but it's what I do. And, it scares a lot of people. It freaks a lot of people out, and it honestly causes a lot of people to like kind of work against me, It causes a lot of people to hate because they want to force me to be a square too, and they see that I'm not a square. They're like, he's not a square. It doesn't work. It's bad for the matrix. It's bad for the box. It's bad for the system. We can't have this circle out here being free. And not even a circle. I'm like a freaking, I'm like a picture of a freaking lion or something, I'm like a lion that someone airbrushed onto the side of their van, a tiger that someone airbrushed onto the side of their van, whatever, I don't know, but like, I'm this colorful, unique, living thing, and they want to turn me into a square so they can stack me up on top of the other squares, and I could be in this big, warehouse on this shelf or whatever, and just be like everybody else, and be terrified to express my own opinions, which most people are, when it comes to really like thinking for themselves. Not like I rigidly believe in this politics, I rigidly follow this or that, but like to actually think about something for yourself and to have your own thought that's not pre-programmed or pre-primed. And it's not something that you just heard somewhere else. To actually like make your own conclusions. They're very terrified of that. They don't want to do that, and that's things that we're able to do. They don't think for themselves. Their thought is 100% informed by the matrix and by external things around them. They don't look inside and say, what do I really think about this? What do I, not even what I really think. What do I really want? Who am I really? Most people don't even ask who they really are. They don't know, They don't know. If you'd ask people who they are, they'd say, I'm my job, I'm my physical body, I'm my friends and family, I'm my thoughts, I'm my money. Yep. Because they don't have anybody who they are internally. Their entire identity has become caught up in external things. It has. I'm my religion, I'm my this, my that. And people they look toward these external things to give them a sense of identity. And they base their sense of identity pretty much entirely on these external things. And without these external things, they're very lost. And they can't, they just don't have any sense of who they are, because they have never, ever claimed any sense of inner identity or any sense of who they are on the inside. They don't have it, And for me to get more personal into my life and talk about my childhood and stuff like that, like I grew up as an Orthodox Jew, so very heavy conformity. I'm supposed to dress a certain way, walk a certain way, talk a certain way, big community of a lot of very religious, kind of judgmental people who expect me to be a certain way, and there's all these rules, and it's basically like 24/7 control, and there's always all these rules, and you're never following the rules enough, and essentially your worth is judged based on how hard you can conform. So the more you conform and follow these rules and stuff, the better of a person you quote unquote are. And I say this a lot, but it's not a moral of like helping someone else out or being kind or being truthful or anything like that. It's just a moral of conforming to like silly rules that don't make sense. And in that, like, I could not be myself. Like, I was in the box hard. Like, you're already in the box in society, but then it was like I was in a box inside the box. Like, it was bad. And that's how it is with a lot of people in the world and stuff. Like, the conformity is just hardcore. It really is. Then when I go outside of that, there's more conformity and a whole whatever, it's just tough. It's just tough. And I just wish I could just be who I am, and I'm doing that right now, but that was stripped away from me for a big part of my life. And there's other things that took that away from me too. And there's things that are trying to take that away from me as well. Politics, the corporate world. I got involved in the Christian church later on, and they did the same thing. So, there's a lot of people just trying to make you conform, and they're very judgmental, and they're always like looking at you, and you're never quite good enough. And, that's just how the world kind of turns and circles around, unfortunately. Like, they want you in the box. They don't want you thinking for yourself or being your own person. And it's just horrible, because it's just like you just cut these people down, and they're just this shell of their former self. And, it starts from childhood, where you're just going to take a child and just cut them down to try to stop them from becoming who they really are. And to stop them from growing into a free, happy, and healthy individual. And just to do a bunch of BS to stop that from happening. And, in a lot of our childhoods, in my case, it was hardcore religion, and my parents were narcissists and stuff too. But in all of our childhoods, there's this, from a time where a very little kid, there's just this stuff, bad parents, bad teachers, bad leaders, bad parental figures, whatever, that are just trying to cut us down to size and make us conform. And they're just trying to throw us into the machine. They don't want to parent us or raise us or teach us or guide us. They don't want to have to do that, because that takes effort, and that takes them having to think for themselves, and that would take them having to also be individuals themselves, which they have lost their individuality. They're not individuated, and they don't want to reclaim it. They don't care to. It's not that's hard, and they just want to do what's easy, which is to conform and to go along and to just bow down to it, and I'm not going to do that at all. And I'm telling you, it's not what society wants. Society wants me to stay in my box. They do. It's what they're into, because that makes you very easy to control. When you're in your little box and you're following all your little rules and you're wearing your little uniform and you're tiptoeing around and you're all scared and anxious tiptoeing around, and you're I'll conform, I'll turn myself into a square if I have to, I'll be the squarest square possible. Once they get you in that kind of state of mind and in rolling like that, it's game over, because you're already in you're already primed to follow rules. When you're like that, you're primed to follow unquestioningly. And for tyrants and bullies and manipulators and evil people, that's what they want. You do what the bully says, unquestioningly. You do what the liar and what the manipulator says, unquestioningly. Because here's the thing. Liars and manipulators don't want to be questioned. Then the whole thing falls apart. And it doesn't work. But if you just follow unquestioningly, they want that. That's what's good for them. And not only that, but they gaslight, and they form the very mental structures that you use to think. And because you're thinking about things in those mental structures that are already formulated in your mind, those mental structures they put in are very limiting. And those mental structures that the Matrix puts in your mind, it causes you to only be able to think in a certain way, to only be able to think in a black and white way, and to not be able to think in a three-dimensional, in the full spectrum of color, seeing all aspects of things kind of way. You can't. And in that limited kind of thinking, you're just going to follow along. Not only will you follow along, but you'll be happy to follow along. Unfortunately, yeah. You'll follow along very happily, and you'll try to be the best conformist possible. And the best conformist who conforms harder than the other conformists. And you're the squarest square, and they're not square enough, so you judge them. That's the mentality they have. They have a mentality that they are the squarest square, and that you better be as square as they are. And to them, morality and ethics are about conformity and being the biggest, squarest square possible. And in all things of society, in all thought patterns, this happens. Whether it's religion, political ideology, capitalist ideology, get the money ideology, whatever you want to call it, all these ideologies, which there's tons of them, tons and tons and tons, get people thinking in a certain way. And it's very rigid. And when you see these certain people who, let's say, believe a certain political ideology or believe in a certain religion, or people who are very into the education system, or people who are very into the military, or people who are very into political activism, whatever they are, they will groupthink. And they will groupthink very, very heavily. And they will all think in the same way and talk in the same way and bring up the same things. I'm telling you, you'll be like, man, like, this is crazy thought conformity. And you'll see it when you step outside of it. But when you're in it, it's just like, I got to conform to this stuff, and I got to be about my team and my cause and my thing, and it's my team against their team, and people are just in the matrix, just spinning around in their mind. Their mind is just spinning around in a circle. And they haven't taken a chance to reflect, step back, and be like, man, like, why am I thinking this way? Why am I involved in this? What? You know? But the thing is, this stuff appeals to ego. It appeals to people's egos to, you know, like I talked about, conform harder than other people, but it makes people feel like they can be good and righteous without having to love their fellow, without having to be truthful and respectful and kind, and, you know, without having to do any of that, without having to self-reflect. They can be a quote-unquote good person without actually having to be good. And it's a big part of why I believe people become so heavily ideologized. And that's what it really is. People are heavily ideologized. And they will go on and on about this ideology, and that ideology is God over them. It's God over them, and they put it above all else. And when you're like, I don't even care about these ideologies, whatever, which is where I'm getting at. I'm like, I'm not caught up on ideologies. You know, I connect with God. I try to do greater things. You know, I don't care about ideologies. I try to spread light. I don't care about an ideology. I don't. I try to spread truth. I don't care about an ideology. I don't need ideology. I don't need mental programming. I don't. It's bad for me. It's bad for the world. It's bad for society. And yeah, I'm not going to be put in the box. Period. And they could be freaked out if they want to be freaked out. You know? They can feel however they want to feel about it. They can reject me or exclude me if they want. I don't care. At the end of the day, they're looking at me. In the end of the day, they're paying attention to me. And at the end of the day, they are envious of me and of us. Because we're free spirits. We march to the beat of our own drum. We don't try to please people or be like other people. We're not trying to quote unquote fit in. Because let me tell you, fitting in, man, it's exhausting. And you can never fit in enough. And people are always, they're not sure what to do to fit in. And people are very socially stressed out. Like grown adults, very socially stressed out at work and around communities and whatever. Very socially stressed out because they don't know who they're even supposed to be or what they're even supposed to do. Because the Matrix is not really responsible. It doesn't care about them. They're just some number. Throw them in the back with the rest of the boxes, whatever. You know, they're another box. And they're in the box and another square. And just toss them in the back, whatever, you know. Don't teach them anything. Don't show them anything. Don't guide them. Just let them struggle and suffer, whatever, you know. And that's what the Matrix does. It doesn't give them any true guidance or show them how to live their lives or anything. It just propagates them, hits them with some drama, some stuff to feed their ego, keeps them really busy with trying to pay bills and trying to keep up with the Joneses and trying to fit in and trying to please people, whatever. It just keeps people busy with that and doesn't do anything of value for the people anyways. It doesn't, you know. And society just wants to society is just like from such an early age, they're like, we got to get you in the box. We got to get you in the box. Well, I'm in the box. You're in the box. You have to be in the box. Why? It's what everybody does. Well, what if I don't do that? Well, then you're going to be different and you don't want to be different. And, you know, and it's just like, I'm done with this box. I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm going to be an individual, think for myself, and live my own life. Period. And I don't need people to think for me or to tell me how to think. I do not. I really don't. And they can pound sand, really. The system and the matrix and all these people who want to control how I think, when they don't even control how they think, can pound sand. These people cannot, they don't even have any, I mean, you can't really control what you think, but they don't even have any self-control over their own mind or their own heart or anything. And they're trying to have control over me. Control yourself first. Don't even try to control me. Just try to control yourself. But it's just this matrix, man. It's just this matrix of just people who are just insecure and don't have control over themselves and don't have morals or ethics. They just make a whole big mishmash, chaotic swirl, and they're greedy, and they just make this whole, and they want all this attention for themselves, and they're solipsistic. They think that really, in the end of the day, only they matter. And it just creates a whirlwind of chaos in our society. And they're trying to just like suck everybody into it. And I'm like, no, you're not going to suck me in. You all can circle around in that vortex of misery. And I will step to the side and live my own life. And be my own person. So yeah, y'all, they want to put you in a box. They don't want to just let you be you, you know? They want to put you in a box, make you conform, make you swallow some ideology and live, you know, your life programmed by an ideology. It's what they want to do. And I'm saying no. God gave me free will. You know, I don't need to conform to all this stuff. No. So, yeah, I'm going to end this video here, but thank you all so much for watching. God bless, and I will see you all next time.